Hi, my name is Darren Smith. I am a co-founder at Mpool. I'm giving you a series of growth-driven design training. The goal is to give you really simple, short and sweet introduction to growth-driven design. And if you do want that more detailed version, you have to go over to HubSpot and do their certification. Um, so this is video number 7 in the series, and today we're going to talk about the plan stage of continuous improvement. So to give you an overview, the goal is to plan to build the most impactful items in your wish list that will get you closer to your current focus metric. So you'll be in the website hierarchy at some stage of the website hierarchy, and that stage will have a focus metric, and everything you're going to do over the next cycle is going to be to get you closer to that current focus metric. So the steps in the planning stage, there are 4 steps. First of all, you review the state of the union. This is a report that was produced at the end of your previous cycle. You're then going to pick what to focus on, and you're going to do some discovery and some research around that. That will lead you to hosting a summit meeting, and then last of all, finalize the next steps and what you're going to do in your next sprint. So I'm not going to go into reviewing your state of the union because I'm going to leave that to the final stage of the continuous improvement training. I'm going to go straight into the focus and discovery section, step 2 of planning. So you need to look at what action items are at the top of your wish list, because there may be some action items that your client has added as an example. You also need to look at which phase of the website hierarchy are we currently in, and you're most likely going to be on different phases for different pages on your website. So you're going to want to look at what are those high impactful items at the top of your wish list, and that may actually cover 5 of the different website hierarchy stages. So for each of those changes, you need to look at what do we want to increase, then determine the questions that you need answered relating to the problems, the friction, the points, the friction points that you're trying to solve, that you need answered by the users in order to help identify what you need to do. Then you go and conduct research to find the answers to those questions, and then eventually summarize those answers into a discussion guide. So just as an example here, you may want to change, you may want to get more people to request a consultation with you. So that is what you want to increase. Increase the number of people requesting a consultation. The questions that you may want to ask is, why are people not requesting a consultation? What are they doing instead of requesting a consultation? Do they even visit the request a consultation page? You then go and look at research, conduct some research to try and find answers to those questions that you have, and then you go and summarize those answers in a discussion guide. You move on to the next step then in the planning cycle. The next step is a hosting of a meeting, a 75 to 90 minute meeting. This is discussion, not a presentation, with all the stakeholders, so the client, everybody involved in the project, and so on. Here's a bit of a suggested agenda. So you take 5 minutes to warm up and do some sort of exercise to get creative. Then you spend 20 minutes reviewing the state of the union. So that's reviewing the previous cycle and what came out of there, the recommendations that came out of there, the outcomes of the experiments that you conducted. 10 minutes to present your focus and discovery. That's the stuff that you did in your previous step. So what you want to work on and the results of the research that you initially conducted. Then you're going to spend 30 minutes brainstorming solutions based on that research that you've done and what you want to focus on. So the idea is that you don't go there into this meeting and say, I discovered these problems and this is the solution that we're going to implement. You rather open this up to brainstorming and let the whole group come up with ideas on how you might solve these solutions. Towards the end of the meeting, you spend 5 minutes to prioritize the results of the brainstorm, look at things that you can do that are based on impact and the effort. This might result in a whole bunch of new action item cards being created. And last of all, you wrap up and discuss your next steps. After the meeting, you go back to the office. There may be some additional research that you need answers to, or you need to conduct to get answers to from the users. You want to go and move the action item card to the rating stage, where you're going to identify how difficult is this task and what is the impact, which will then allow you to say which process you're going to follow, and essentially assign, if you're using the points-based pricing, assign how many points you're going to charge the customer to implement this particular action item. As a result, you're then going to be able to confirm with the team which action items are actually going to be implemented in the next sprint based on the size of the engagement. So if the customer has bought 10 points and the ideas that you have come up with are going to take 15 points, you need to identify which 5 you are not going to implement in this next cycle. And that's your job as a strategy person. Then you're going to progress the idea or the action item card to the planned experiment stage, where you're actually going to identify how are you going to build an experiment for this particular idea. Right, so move on to the next stage now, which in the continuous improvement cycle of this kind of short and sweet growth-driven design training. If you do have any questions for me, head over to Twitter and ask them to me on my Twitter handle, which is @DarrenSmith.